Hey, welcome to lesson 4 of the Bash the Command Line course on the Linux command line from scratch. Yesterday, we wrote our first bash script where we put some commands that we've learned already into a script, and we made that script executable. Today, we're going to learn a little bit more about chmod. So let's start off by looking again at the permissions for first script. Okay, so I'm just going to ls-l first script because I only want to look at that one. All right, you see there, this one right here, if it was a directory, that would be a D, but it's not a directory, so we can just ignore that. We've got these 3 letters in 3 sections, right? So the sections are user, group, and other. U-G-O. And yesterday we changed the mode. We changed the permissions in order to make first script an executable. And today I'm going to show you how to play with all of these, right? So there are a few letters we need to learn. One is A means all, U means user, that's the person who owns the file, G means group, and O means other. O is the stranger. Okay? Now, the other letters you're going to need to remember are R for read, W for write, and X for execute. That's easy to remember because it's right there in front of your face, right? Okay, so if I want to chmod everybody can write to first script. Then I say chmod A plus W first script. And now you can see everybody can write. Okay? I can also say all plus read execute first script. Now you'll see everybody can read and everybody can execute. Now you'll notice it didn't take away any permissions, it just added new ones, right? So I can take away permissions. I can say A minus execute, so I don't want anybody to be able to execute first script. And now if I go ls-l first script, you can see nobody can execute, and you see the color of the file changed because it's telling me it's no longer executable. So I want to chmod the group minus write first script. And there we can see that the group can no longer write to first script. I'm gonna go chmod A plus read write execute first script, and now I'm gonna ls-l that, and we can see you can do everything. Everybody can do everything. And now I want to take away write and execute from group. Chmod G minus write and execute W-R first script. And if I ls-l first script that, we can see that the group can no longer read and write, they can only execute, which is a little weird. Usually you want to read and execute if you're going to execute. Just saying. And maybe I want to chmod O, the others, are no longer allowed to write or execute. So now if I check that, we can see that the user can read, write, and execute, but excuse me, the word, the group, can no longer read or write. It can only execute, and the others can no longer write or execute. They can only read. All right, so there's another way to do this that is actually easier. Excuse me. I've just got a little bit of a cough this evening. Don't worry, it's not COVID, I promise. So, where was I? We're going to do numbers now. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chmod 777 first script. All right, so 777 gives everybody all the rights. So let's look at that. 777 gave everybody all the rights. Now, those numbers, the three numbers, are the three positions. The first number is the user, the second number is the group, and the third number is other. And it's made up of three numbers. So read equals 4, write equals 2, and execute equals 1. Okay? 4, 2, 1. So if you want somebody to read and write, then you add 4 and 2 together, and that gives you 6. If you want somebody to read and execute, but not write, then you add 4 and 1 together, and you get 5. If you only want them to be able to read, then you've got 4. See how that works? So, let us chmod. We want the user to be able to do everything, and we want the group to be able to read and execute. So that's 4 plus 1 equals 5. And we want the other to only read. Okay? Reading is 4. So now, let's take a look at that, and you can see read, write, execute, read and execute, and just read. So it's pretty simple, but you just got to get over that little hump of what these things mean. So if you didn't write notes the first time, let's just go over that again. So the first section is the user, i.e. the person who owns that file or directory. The second position is the group. The third position is other. And the numbers are, for read, it's 4. For write, it's 2. And for execute, it's 1. So I used to make a joke that the supposed number of the devil tells us everything we need to know about the devil, because he can read and write all sorts of things. So he can talk a lot, but he can't actually execute anything. Ba-doom, boom. So that is a way that helps me to remember that execute is 1. And then I can remember that read is 4 and write is 2, because if, once you break that down, the only way you're going to get two different numbers that you're going to add up to get 6 is 4 and 2. Because otherwise you'd have 3 and 3, and that would be the same number, which wouldn't work. So 4 and 2 and 1. It couldn't be 5 and 1, because 5 is what you get when you have 4 and 1, right? So we've got 666 is read and write, but no execute. So 4 plus 2. And if we want uh, read and execute, but no write, then that's 5, 5, 5. Everybody would be read and execute, but no write. 4 plus 1. Everybody can do everything. 7, 7, 7. Okay? All right. So I'm going to back off, and let's take a look at this in a directory. So we've got that directory did it, right? So ls-l. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. Apologies for that. So you'll notice that in the directory, the user can read, write, and execute. The group can read, write, and execute, but others can only read and execute. So let's change that so that the group can read and execute but can't write. Okay? So chmod, we're still going to have 7 in the first place for the user. And then in the group, we want to have read, which is 4, and execute, which is 1. So that gives us 5. And we're going to keep the same thing that's already there, which is also read and execute, which is another 5. And we're going to say did it. And now if we ls-a, we can see that the group and the others both have read and execute, but not write. So you can do that with directories as well as files. And that means what you can do inside the directory, but it isn't necessarily going to go for everything inside the directory. So like, let's look at cd did it. Let's look at what's in here. We've got another file and we've got roots list, and both of those have read and write for both the user and the group, but only read for the others, right? So changing what happened with the directory didn't change what was happening with the files underneath. So let's go up back to our home directory. What if I want to change everything inside of did it so that other people can't read at all? Okay, I want to make sure that the owner can read, write, and execute, that the group can read and execute, but that others can't do anything. So I'm going to say chmod -r 750 did it. Whoops. Chmod. Did I just do that backwards? -r. No. Chmod -R. There we go. It's a capital R. See? Don't worry about making mistakes. I could edit that out. I'm going to leave it there because I want you to know that even after you've been doing this for 1,000,000 years, like me, because I am old, you still get stuck on those things sometimes. It's in your head. Don't worry about it. If I couldn't figure it out, what I would have done is I would have said man chmod. Remember that from the first lesson? Man chmod. And then I would have just scrolled down and be like, I know that there's an R in here for recursive. Oh, hey, there it is. It's a capital R for recursive. Dumb me. Okay, so we just did that. Chmod, capital R, capital R, 750 did it. So let's ls-l, and let's look at did it. Now we can see that we've got read, write, execute, read, execute, nothing, 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 right? Now let's ls-l did it, see what's inside of did it, And we can see that the same thing happened to the files inside. Read, write, execute, read and execute, nothing. So that's useful sometimes, especially if you've got a folder that has, you know, a bunch of files that are exposed to the internet, and you realize that you accidentally put the whole thing out that the whole world could write to it, and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't mean to do that. You can use the chmod -R to get rid of the permissions that you actually gave to everybody inside that directory that you didn't want to do. And you can use that -R whether you're using the numbers or whether you're using the letters. You can use either one of them. Neither is better than the other. It's whatever you prefer. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Some people get all snooty and snotty that their magical way is better than somebody else's way. They both work. So use what feels comfortable to you. All right, that's my little soapbox for today. And we're up to 16 minutes, so I'm going to stop blabbing and let you get on with your day. Hope this helped, and I will see you tomorrow.